Hello everyone, myself Prashant. Hope you all are doing great. So recently we are seeing a lot in the news this tariff war which is going on between United States and China. So in this video we will examine the economic conflict and its dynamics, right? So let's begin and see all the important aspect of this conflict. Before moving forward, we need to know that why this conflict becomes even so important. So the reason is obvious. uh, जो यूएस का जीडीपी है and जो चाइना का जीडीपी है, so if we combine the जीडीपी of both the countries, then that equals to the 43% of world's GDP. So you can imagine the the intensity, right? So China's GDP is around $20 trillion, right? And US GDP is around $30 trillion, right? So if you combine this $50 trillion is equal to 43%, in fact 43% of world's GDP, right? 43% of world's GDP. This is very important, and that is why this conflict has become so important, right? In this video, we'll discuss the escalating tariffs, how it started. Then we'll see trade figures and imbalances, broader impact, trade war consequences, and future prospects. So let's see the escalating tariffs, how it started when Trump announced for this tariff, and how China retaliated to this tariff uh, this tariff, right? But before that we need to know the background of US China trade relations. So uh, the trade relations has shifted from adversarial to interdependent since 20th century. US और China के बीच, or both the countries have economically benefited from each other, and that is why the trade relation has a long history between these both countries. And obviously along with the trade इनका जो अपना एक म्यूचुअल टेंशन था, that also continued. So parallelly trade and parallelly tension also continued. Now we'll see the escalating tariffs and concerns. So US President imposed a 125% tariff on Chinese imports, some goods taxed at 145%. So this 125%, it's a huge number, and 145% in fact on some goods. So this percentage is huge, right? Then China obviously strictly retaliated with the same tariff rate in US on goods, and even imposed higher tariff on some products. So China with the same intensity, the way जो ट्रम्प ने एक इकोनॉमिक स्ट्राइक किया टेरिफ्स के फॉर्म में, उसी जस्ट उसी के इंटेंसिटी में चाइना ने भी रिटेलिएट किया. चाइना ने भी 125% का टेरिफ लगाया, और चाइना ने भी कुछ गुड्स पर 145% के टेरिफ लगाए हैं, राइट? Then obviously there is risk of global economic disruption. The reason is obvious. They account for nearly 40% of global GDP. To be specific, it's 43% of global GDP. Now we'll see the trade figures and imbalances. Basically, these are the roots because of which Trump started this tariff war. Uh, because there is a huge economic deficit with US. That is why Trump started this tariff war. And obviously bilateral trade volume between both the countries stands at $585 billion, very important. And US imports, out of this $585 billion, US imports $440 billion. So this is huge for any country. And in response to this, what China imports only $145 billion. So there is a huge difference, and that is the reason the trade deficit with China has stood at 295 trillion, right? Dollar 295 trillion, and this equals 1% of US economy. So it's a huge number, it's a huge percentage, and it's a huge loss for US. That is why US is of opinion that US under Trump is of opinion that we should keep on increasing the tariff, right? uh, you should know that when Trump was in first term, when Trump got elected for the first time for the first time as a president in US, so he started this tariff on China, and this tariff was continued in Biden administration as well. It's not that Biden administration did away with this tariff. No, it was continued under Biden also, and now again Trump came, and Trump has this aggressive approach with respect to tariff and with respect to this trade deficit. So obviously he increased this uh, tariff to 125%, 144, 145%. So 120, that is the reason you are seeing this 125% number and 145% number. Now so obviously there must be details and rationale behind US tariff hike. Obviously it's for protection of American industries, since बहुत सारे जो goods हैं services हैं चाइना बेसिकली एक तरह से डंप कर रही थी अमेरिका में, राइट? और उसकी वजह से जो लोकल इंडस्ट्रीज हैं, लोकल सर्विस सेक्टर हैं, या फिर लोकल मार्केट्स है, दैट गॉट डिसरप्टेड और देयर वाज जॉब लॉस. ठीक है, तो टू इनहिबिट मीन्स टू स्टॉप दैट, ट्रम्प स्टार्टेड दिस. देयर इज टू रिड्यूस द trade deficit. Obviously we just discussed that, and there has been allegations on China for thieving intellectual property, right? So this is also the case. That is why Trump is very aggressive, and he is in full intent to retaliate China. And there has been unfair trade practices as well, accusations by both the countries to each other, right? So these are the regions, these are all the combined reasons because of which Trump started this tariff war. Now, if these both the countries share 40% or 43% of global GDP, then obviously their impact will also be in response in respect to the share they share in world's GDP. So there is a broader impact, और वो broader impact क्या है, we will know. So जो global capital market, stock markets बहुत disrupt हो चुके हैं. So there are some short-term effects on global financial markets. Tariff announcement, the announcement of increased tariffs can create immediate reactions on financial markets. वो already होने लगा है. मार्केट वोलेटिलिटी, स्टॉक मार्केट सब डिसरप्ट हो गए हैं. बहुत सारे इन्वेस्टर नेस्डेक से बहुत सारा अपना पैसा निकाल लिए. कुछ चेंजेस यहाँ पे सेंसेक्स में हो रहे हैं, पैसा लोग निकाल रहे हैं, डाल रहे हैं. सो बहुत वोलेटिलिटी है मार्केट में. देन इन्वेस्टर्स रिएक्शन, ऑब्वियसली इन्वेस्टर जो है इट विल ही विल invest money or withdraw money in accordance to what is happening around globally, right? He will not sit idle, it's obvious. Then there is huge there is huge impact on bilateral trade of both the countries and their industries. So there is disruption of trade flows, obviously, and there will be disruption of the items which is exported from US to China, and the items which is exported from China to US. So what US exports to China, so it exports soya beans, which is vital for pigs industry, pharmaceuticals and petroleum. So all these supplies will be disrupted for China. Then what China's exports to US, you should know. So China exports smartphones, electronics, computers, toys. So ये जो चीजें हैं ये भी impact होंगी यूएस के लिए, right? The tariff war significantly disrupted trade flows, that we are seeing it from the beginning. Now there is increased cost for companies as well, right? Companies involved in international trade faced increased cost impacting their profit margins, financial stability during the tariff war. And we have seen in news that the one of the notable impact in case of company was that Apple shares got dropped by 20%. We also heard in the news everywhere, it's everywhere that एप्पल जो है वो दो एरोप्लेन में टू एयरप्लेन्स filled with iPhones was taken back to America, and obviously that was in a bid to maintain the price stability of the phones of the iPhone, right? So these are bilateral impacts, and along with bilateral impacts, there are one second. Along with bilateral impacts, there are some political and uh, international relations impacts as well, right? Since these two are, you can say, the two most economically powerful countries, so obviously there will be huge impact globally as well. So possible pressure on other nations like Cambodia, Mexico, Vietnam to limit trade with China. So now geopolitics game will continue. सभी जो चाइना के अपने एलाई हैं या फिर यूएस के जो अपने एलाई हैं, they will try to persuade them and take actions according to their interest, right? Now broader economic ripple effect you should know, I don't know, for those of you who don't know, जैसे हम लोग when जब हम लोग पानी में वाटर में किसी वाटर बॉडीज में, चाहे वो नदी हो चाहे वो तालाब हो, उसमें जब हम पत्थर डालते हैं तो आप देखते हो एक रिपल इफेक्ट होता है, जैसे पानी जो है ऐसे ऐसे फ्लो होता है, राइट? इसी को हम लोग रिपल इफेक्ट बोलते हैं. सो एक इकोनॉमिक रिपल इफेक्ट होगा ऑब्वियसली, एंड जो इकोनॉमिकली इंटरडिपेंडेंट एज बोथ इकोनॉमीज इंटरडिपेंडेंटली शेप ग्लोबल कॉमर्स. सो obviously that economic ripple is going to happen, and US considers Quad and Vietnam to limit China. So जो यूएस है अपने एलाइज को, जैसे क्वाड है, क्वाड में ऑस्ट्रेलिया है, इंडिया है, जापान है, यूएस है, सो ये अपने यूएस जो है इनको अपने साइड करके परसुएट करेगा कि वी शुड गो ऑन विद दिस पर्टिकुलर अप्रोच और विद दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉलिसी व्हेन इट कम्स टू चाइना. और जो वियतनाम है उसको भी परसुएट करेगा टू लिमिट चाइना. सो this is about the political and international relations, right? Now there is some more, there is huge trade war consequences as well, right? We'll see those consequences, and those consequences are we can say are very harsh for consumers also, for companies also, for economies also, for countries also. So those are harsh for everyone. Now so there will be potential blockades in the supply of vital industrial metals, एग्जांपल कॉपर, लिथियम, रेयर अर्थ. और जो भी इंडस्ट्रीज हैं इन पे डिपेंडेंट है या फिर इनसे रिलेटेड कोई भी काम कर रही हैं, तो उनके कॉस्ट जो है वो बढ़ेंगे तो उनके जो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं वो भी बढ़ेंगे. सो कंज्यूमर विल ऑल्सो बी अफेक्टेड. जो एक है फर्दर यूएस रिस्ट्रिक्शन ऑन एडवांस्ड माइक्रोफोन्स क्रूशियल फॉर इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज लाइक एआई. सो एआई इज द एवरीवेयर एआई जनरेटिव एआई. सो ये चीज़ें चल रही, जनरेटिव एआई, चैट जीपीटी, फेसबुक का अपना एआई है, गूगल का अपना जेमिनाई एआई है. सो ये सब चीज़ें, तो दैट इज डिपेंडेंट, दिस एआई इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन माइक्रोचिप्स. सो माइक्रोचिप्स का जो सप्लाई है, डिमांड है, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी हैम्पर्ड, राइट? सो एआई पे भी एक एडिशनल कॉस्ट आएगा, एआई का कॉस्ट बढ़ेगा, जो कि अल्टीमेटली फिर एआई का कॉस्ट बढ़ेगा तो जो कंज्यूमर है, जो उसको ले रहे हैं, जो इसको यूज़ कर रहे हैं, उनका भी कॉस्ट बढ़ेगा, पॉकेट कॉस्ट. देन हायर कॉस्ट फॉर कंज्यूमर्स, disrupted supply chains and global market instability. So as I said कि as I have already said, ये रेयर अर्थ मिनरल्स है, कॉपर है या फिर एआई है, सो इनका इनके इनके इनसे ये जिन चीज़ों पे डिपेंडेंट है, जिन चीज़ों से ये बन रहे हैं, ठीक है, अगर उसका सप्लाई अफेक्ट होता है तो ऑब्वियसली इनका जो फैक्टर कॉस्ट है बनाने में या फिर डिलीवर करने में प्रोडक्ट को, वो फैक्टर कॉस्ट भी बढ़ेगा। तो फैक्टर कॉस्ट बढ़ेगा तो ऑब्वियसली जो प्राइस है, जो रिटेल प्राइस है या फिर जो होलसेल प्राइस है, जो प्राइस जिस प्राइस पे वो प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस कंज्यूमर के पास पहुंच रहा है, तो उसका भी प्राइस बढ़ेगा ना। तो कंज्यूमर्स विल ऑल्सो फेस द हाई प्राइस, right? Or there will be global market instability. Now escalation could slow global growth and investment. So obviously growth and investment are also going to be impacted. So you should know all these important points. It is very important. Potential blockades, supply of microchips being affected, higher cost for consumers, escalation could slow global growth and investment. Now we have discussed the consequences, right? And now we'll see the future prospects, right? What is the future outlook of this conflict? So uh, it's a pessimistic only. We cannot say it's optimistic. पेसिमिस्टिक इसलिए है या फिर कोई होप इसलिए नहीं दिख रहा है क्योंकि देर इज नो क्लियर स्ट्रैटेजी और एंड गेम फ्रॉम यूएस लीडरशिप। यूएस लीडरशिप की तरफ से कोई एक स्ट्रैटेजी नहीं है इसको टैकल करने का, राइट? वो टैरिफ जो है बढ़ाते ही जा रहे हैं। इनफैक्ट वो एक टेबल पे जाकर डिस्कस करना चीज़ों को, वो चीज़ें नहीं हो रही हैं। एक एग्रेसिव स्ट्राइक वाला अप्रोच चल रहा है कि स्ट्राइक विथ टैरिफ टू चाइना कंटिन्यूसली। तो ये चीज़ें चल रहा है। फिर चाइनाज रिफ्यूजल टू अपीयर वीक इंक्रीजेज रिस्क ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट। चाइना जो है वो भी बैक डाउन नहीं कर रहा है। ऑब्वियसली चाइना का भी लॉस हो रहा है, सो इट इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू बैक डाउन। वो भी उसी रिस्पॉन्स में, उसी इंटेंसिटी के साथ इकोनॉमिकली टेरिफ स्ट्राइक कर रहा है, राइट? सो एक्सपर्ट्स जो हैं, जो जियो पॉलिटिक्स एक्सपर्ट हैं, दे आर वार्निंग दैट there will be, if there is a significant global fallout, there will be significant global fallout if de-escalation fails. अगर de-escalation है वो अगर फेल होता है तो ग्लोबल फॉल आउट होने वाला है। और जिसकी वजह से मतलब बहुत सारी चीज़ें हो सकती हैं अगर ये दोनों दो मेजर पावर है ना। आपको समझना है ये दे शेयर 43% ऑफ ग्लोबल जीडीपी, तो इनका जो एक इंटरेस्ट है वो बहुत ज़्यादा लार्ज है। और इंटरेस्ट अगर इनका हैम्पर हो रहा है तो कन्फ्लिक्ट कैन चेंज अनदर फॉर्म ऑल्सो, राइट? इस कन्फ्लिक्ट की वजह से इकोनॉमिक कन्फ्लिक्ट, कहीं मिलिट्री कन्फ्लिक्ट ना हो जाए, जो कि पहले पास्ट में हुआ है, बहुत बार हुआ है। इकोनॉमिक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट गेटिंग ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड इनटू मिलिट्री कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, right? So there is a very delicate situation currently in world's geopolitics. So let us see and be hopeful that everything will be optimistic. जो वर्ल्ड्स के लीडर हैं, दे आर कंटिन्यूसली in talks with China, US, so that this matter can be brought to a peaceful conclusion, right? So this is it, I guess. I think I have covered all the important points with respect to this conflict, and मैं आशा करता हूँ कि people have enjoyed learning this video, enjoyed learning the process. So thank you for your time. Thank you so much.